K-Rock Atlantic Rock Reviews Behind the Bands here with Corky from Otherwise. Welcome back, man.
How's it going, man? Good to be back.
Yeah, it's always good to talk to you, man. I had a blast talking to you at the show last night, man. So tell us, just catch us up, man, on what's been going on since the cruise. I'm going to talk about the cruise in a minute.
The cruise, that's so funny. Well, when we got back from the cruise, went straight back to Vegas, got in an RV to start our run here with 10 Years, Glorious Sons, and Luminoth, and it's been a really, really great run. We didn't quite know what to expect. We'd done a few one-off shows with 10 Years over the first record cycle, but had never done like an actual run with them, and it's been a really, really good run. All the bands have been complimenting each other sound-wise, and for us, I mean, we've been on so many tours with bands that are like heavier and on the harder metal side. Like a band like 10 Years makes us feel like now suddenly we're a little bit more of the edgier band on this run, right? So it's cool because it allows us to kind of alter our set list a little bit, play a few extra of the softer tunes that we don't normally get to play on the road, especially when we're not headlining. And like I say, it's just been a really good run. The crowds have been great. The shows have been full, and it's been a great run throughout.
Yeah, man, great job in Baltimore last night, man. So reflect back on that, because it was your third time in Baltimore, and I'm just thinking back to the first time you played there. Probably not as big of a crowd as you saw last night. So like reflect on that a little bit.
You never know what to expect, especially on your first tour. Like if it's going to be a hole in the wall club with like paint falling off the walls and carpet all torn up, or if it's like a really well known venue. And Ram's Head's always just been like, now that I know what this place is, I always look forward to that place. The stage is great, super, super wide stage. Even when you're an opener, there's enough room to get around for everybody on front. And with the whole like 3 levels of where the audience can stand, everything, it's just such a cool experience. The staff there is always so great, and like when we go to these venues that we've been to a few times, it's like this weird feeling of like, it's comfortable, and you almost feel slightly veteran about the whole thing. But
slightly veteran. You've been doing this a long time. Right? Slightly veteran.
But at the same time, we have like our new bass player, right, who's never toured anywhere before. So I get up yesterday morning. I was like, Tony, yeah. You're gonna like this one, man. You gotta check out this venue. It's really cool. So it's fun. I mean, it's nice to have these places that we really look forward to playing every time we're on the road.
So talk about places you probably look forward to playing again, I hope. Let's talk about Shiprock a little bit.
Right.
So, just reflect on the Shiprock experience, man. What are your best memories of that cruise?
We've gone on the road with so many of the bands that were on that cruise that part of the cool part of that experience for us is having everybody all at the same place, right? So you can have dinner with one guy from one band and run into the next guy as you're walking across the deck, and hanging out and having drinks with a different guy right down the hall. It's just been a really, really cool thing to discover what it's like out on that particular ship. We heard so much about it. We'd been offered that Shiprock cruise 3 times. This is the first time we were actually able to go. And the story goes, I mean, the year that I joined the band, we entered a contest to be the unsigned band on Shiprock. And we got 2nd place, which means no cruise, no nothing, all this work. And I remember it feeling like, oh my God, this is this great opportunity. And it was a really great opportunity. But so it was like it came full circle to like 4 years later finally get on that cruise and be able to have that experience. It was cool having bands play on the beach, like the theater room and the lounge rooms and the main stage and all this kind of. It was just like such a cool experience. And then like as a bonus, what I didn't get, I think I was talking with you guys about.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you what you said last night about it.
Was like, I didn't realize that it was like such this community where we would keep running into Shiprockers night after night after night on the road. So this whole run, like every night we'll be at some club and they'll be like, we saw you guys on Shiprock. We came off the ship and the first thing we did, we saw you guys were coming to our town. We got tickets right away. We've been looking forward to the show ever since. And I'm like, oh my God, like it's like this little rock and roll virus that starts like spreading throughout the entire country, And it's just been really, really cool. We end up taking like Shiprocked photos with people at our merch booth at the club and all this kind of stuff, like a little reunion of sorts. So it's been, and then from doing the Beach Wars thing, right, where we had the 4 teams of Beach Wars, and so some guy will come and be like, yo, I was on Team Slap-a-Titty, like high five, and we're like, oh my God, dude.
Yeah, I was on the team that went out right away. I was on Adrian's team. We were out fast.
Exactly. So it's just such a cool way to stay in touch, and like I'll still go through and see like what's going on the Shiprockers Facebook thing, that page, all that kind of stuff. It's just there's always photos popping up, like, oh, I remember doing that, all that kind of stuff. It's really, really cool.
So I guess we have a bad history on Shiprock of one thing. The first year, or the second year we went on, Matt from Pop Evil smashed his nose. This year, I'm watching you guys, and Ryan's head starts gushing blood. What exactly happened there?
I think, from what I remember, he got so excited, he literally smashed his own head with his Les Paul, and then just...
That's what happened to Matt from Pop Evil.
Exactly. Like, he was so pumped up, and bam! Like, he had this guitar, I was doing this, smashed his head, and just blood starts dripping down. So then, of course, it being Shiprock, this dude walks up to the end and says, like, hey, I'm an EMT. If you want, I can stitch that up for you, right?
Did it require any? Did he do that?
It was... I know he had it patched up. It was like he could use like one stitch.
It was looking bad there.
Yeah, there was a lot of blood. So. Made for some good photos, though. Yeah.
So, hey man, I loved, one of the things I loved last night was watching Adrian just gush with his new child on the at the merch booth, man. So
yeah.
What's it like traveling with a youngin around there?
He's been doing his own thing, man. He's literally been doing the rock and roll show up 30 minutes before the show, play the show, and then sign the merch, and then get out of here. So we see Adigan like 3 minutes. And that's about it. But it's cool. I mean, like, I have a 5 and a 7-year-old, 2 daughters, and I've only been able to bring them out on the road a couple times. And granted, that's because they were already grown up and whatnot. So we like rented an RV and drove around and brought them to the show. But like, it's such a cool experience. And granted, I mean, like, Adding is like 5 months old, right? So she's not gonna remember any of this. But like, there's like these experiences where like you're able to bring your kid into this little circle and see kind of what life is like on the road. And I mean, for me, it felt really special to have. At the time, I don't think they were 4 and 6 when I had them out, and it's like they may remember it, they may not, but like while they're this age, they reference the times that they were on the road with Daddy. They reference being on stage with Daddy. They reference like Adrian had both my girls singing in the microphone on Soldiers and all this kind of stuff. So like I know that it has impacted them in some way, and it's super cool to kind of be able to bring them in whenever you can on that whole experience.
It's great for the fans too.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, we were taking baby photos last night.
Yeah, yeah, it's fun, and like for him, it's so funny. He came in like the second day, and he's like, dude, I had no idea how exhausting it was going to be trying to drive from city to city with my kid, and I was like, you could have asked me. I would have told you. I've been there. I've done it. It's really, really fun, but you get no sleep the entire time. So I know he's looking forward to like just get on the bus and sleep through the night now. Like for cause we have I think 2.5 weeks left on this run, and then he goes back to see the kid again. So
speaking of which, what happens after this run? Are you guys already writing new stuff? Because I mean, the album is still like strong singles coming out.
Yeah, it's funny. I just recently went through and listened to the demos that we didn't put on this record, and I was like, God damn, some of these songs are really good. They didn't make it, and like even like Never Say and Man on Fire that made it onto Peace at All Costs. Those are old songs as well that didn't make it on the first record because we were like, nah, they're not fitting this vibe. We don't want to start out maybe with these songs in our arsenal. Maybe let's wait on these, and they came back 2 years later on the second record. So it'll be interesting. We'll end up working through some of those old demos that didn't make the second record, and I think some of those will probably make the third record. We've written a handful of songs, not many, and they're like really, really early sketches. Part of it's just been like the ride that we've been on hasn't had like a lounge available to do that. But ironically, when we were in Nashville last week, we ended up doing a writing session with Lucas Rossi, who was on the ship also, who we met on the ship, who was a friend of a guy that worked at our record label, and we're hanging out and talking. It's like, oh, well, whenever you are in Nashville, we should do like a writing session together. So a week later, I'm like, hey man, we passed through Nashville in early March. You want to do this writing session? And we were there all afternoon and came up with the skeleton of a remarkably cool tune. Actually, it was a lot of fun. So I mean, we did a number of co-writes on our second record, and I think we'll probably end up doing some of that as well. Like we'll write some tunes on our own, but there's a certain cool energy of like getting a new vibe and a new personality into the room to really force your brain to get out of its own little box and we've enjoyed that experience very, very much. So I think we'll keep doing that as time goes on. It's cool if we're on the road and gonna have a day with like a different writer in different cities. Like we'll keep doing that, you know, a lot of fun.
So I watch you drum up there, man. What is the hardest technical, otherwise tune to drum?
You know, it's probably Love and War, which is difficult because we always open with that song, so I have to get all warmed up and then be ready and you get on stage and all the adrenaline comes pumping in and you're like it's time to start the show, and I need to play the most difficult song I possibly have to play on stage, and everything else from there is easy. I'm trying to think if there's just a lot of intricate things I'm doing with my hands on that tune, and I've always been like not the greatest double kick player, and I have this double kick pattern and all this kind of stuff that when we were in the studio I could barely pull that off, and now it's like easy to play, but at the same point in time I always have that thing in the back, you know, like your insecurities in the back of your head, like I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pull this thing off tonight. But you know, there's a lot of little tricky stuff I have in a lot of tunes, but Love and Wars always stretches me a little bit. It's nice.
So music video, is there any leaks or hints you can hit as what might be a music video coming out that we haven't seen yet?
We have no idea what the third single will be. It is completely up in the air now. It's so funny, there were arguments and conversations over and over and over about the second single, so when we finally decided on Coming for the Throne, I was like, great, let's do this, and you know, we were really excited that both that song, you know, we thought brought a new vibe into what we were releasing to radio, but we also thought it fit really well with the idea of doing like a concert footage video. And we'd been wanting to do that for a while, and our record label rep was like, you know, your live show has such a big impact on people when they see you guys live, that like we really want to put together a video that shows what's happening at your guys' concerts, you know. So everything just kind of gelled real well, and you know, singles doing well at radio. I think we're 25 now and climbing, which is great. And couldn't be happier with the video. The video was directed by a guy named Robert John Cly, who's an old friend of ours from Las Vegas as well, who he was in a band in Vegas, got signed, you know, done the whole tour racket, and came back and became a photographer and videographer, and he worked with us on the I Don't Apologize video and the documentary DVD on our Peace at All Costs record, and now the Coming for the Throne video. So.
Well, man, it's tonight is show number 21 for us. I always keep you updated. I like to give you the scorecard.
I love it.
Hey, man, Corky from Otherwise, always a pleasure talking to you and your whole band, man. We love you guys, and thanks for being here again.
Good to see you guys as always.